August 22nd, 2015. Four-inch gravity dredge. We've been running this for a few days, making improvements as we go along. This is Grant Jones and Tim LeBlanc. Yesterday we put on a second 3-foot sluice box, and we found out that we were blowing gold right through our first box. So today I flattened the boxes and we put the second box, which has a grizzly, downstream from the first box, which does not have a grizzly. It looks to be much more effective, although we haven't done a clean out yet this morning. We probably we're moving as much material as you could move with a 4-inch dredge with a motor, although here where we're dredging, no motor is allowed. So what we've done is created a siphon with a 4-inch pipe, and once you get it primed and no air in the line, it's very effective. The suction end, which I'll show you in a minute, has maybe not quite as much suction as my 4-inch dredge with a motor, but it's got a considerable amount of suction, and certainly enough to pick up 3-inch rocks, which is what we're trying to limit ourselves to, so that we don't have a plug up. By limiting ourselves to 3-inch rocks, we hopefully won't have a plug up in this line, which has been running now for, I don't know, over a week solid. We've been dredging. This is our 3rd day with it. We've moved several locations because we weren't finding gold. Come to find out, we probably were blowing the gold right through the box in the previous locations upstream. And I think next time we come up, we're going to bring my 10 square foot sluice box off of my 4-inch dredge. This morning I also flattened the pipe out where it enters the slick plate, which I think is going to be more effective. There's less splash going on. Tim LeBlanc is up there running the nozzle. We've probably moved in the past 2 days, well, the past 3 days, because I was up here Friday alone. We probably have moved 15 square yards of material. There's our tailing pile, and that's in a little waterfall, so that's not really representative of how much we've excavated. We have dredged, I believe, a cavity or cavities in excess of 8 or 10 cubic yards. We finally have the bugs out of this. The secret, of course, is to not have any air in the pipe. If you can keep the air out of the pipe, you'll maintain a siphon. There's our configuration. I'll back up so you can get another view. This is not an advertisement for Keen. I'm actually not that fond of their products. But they are one of the better products on the market. I'm going to take my time and walk upstream. This is some bedrock I moved yesterday. I found a couple of nice pieces in there. As you can see, we probably have a head of 8 or 10 feet. I have my level in the truck. I could go prove that out, but having done pipe work most of my life, I know what 8 or 10 foot of elevation looks like. Because motorized dredging is not allowed here, and the other parts of the river that motorized dredging is allowed, we feel as though we're going to have a better opportunity to find sizable gold if we can get to the bottom of the river or on bedrock below the elevation that all of the panners and shovelers work for. So we've invested a lot of energy and time in the effort to find bedrock in the center of the river. It appears like there's a huge erosion there. I would guess that there's probably, I don't know, 5,000 yards of material that was eroded away from that all at one time, which in theory should have left some deposits right in this area just downstream of it or just in front of it, maybe at the base of it. We are still only allowed a 4-inch dredge in the state of New Hampshire, so if I could go 6-inch I would, and we could move more product, but we're limited to 4-inch, so that's what we have to work with. I'm going to attempt to post this on YouTube, and there's Tim LeBlanc. This is our third or fourth move. Here's one of the cavities we excavated in the past couple days. We went down to bedrock there, and underneath that rock, as I said, we weren't impressed with the amount of gold we found, so we assumed there was no gold here until we put a second sluice box on downstream from the first, and we were getting gold and lead. There's Nana, 13-year-old border collie, Tim's best friend. She loves it out here. So by finding gold and lead in the second box, we realized that we're missing gold because the velocity and the amount of water we're trying to run through a 10-inch by 3-foot sluice box was in excess of what it's supposed to, what its design intent is for. Even with what we've done, I'm not sure we're going to catch all the gold because it's going pretty fast. So next time we come up, we're bringing my 10 square foot box and try that out. Tim's working around some boulders, probably 3 feet deep. Got the suction nozzle off of my 4-inch dredge, and it has enough suction that if you put your hand in front of it, you can barely take it off. It's a generous amount of suction. Again, you've got to remove all of the air in the system before you can start to dredge, because an air bubble will shut the whole system down. No different than siphoning gas out of your gas tank when you were a kid or in an emergency. We have a total of 220 feet of SDR 35. This is the type of SDR 35 that we use for drainage, and it comes with a belled end but not a rubber gasket, and the male end has a a nice beveled edge so that it fits snugly into the bell. And we taped each joint to keep it from sucking air and to keep it together, because the weight of the water on this pipe, the quick math tells me that we probably have 220 times, I would say it's probably 200 or 300 pounds of weight of water when we prime it, and it would push the joints apart if they weren't taped. So that's an important thing to remember. Also, this pipe must be laid with negative pitch the whole way, or positive, depending on which way you're going. If it's not, you'll have an air bubble, and you'll also end up with a pocket when you're dredging of heavies. We've had pockets of red garnet in a low area, and it'll plug up your pipe. And if you can't carry water because it's just the area is taken up by heavies, you won't move material. It'll plug right up. So anyway, that's my post. Any questions? Give me an email, and thanks for watching.